ultimate hobby. This is the building of the Starship Enterprise. Its continuing mission to create a beautiful centerpiece, to seek out new builders and young model makers, to boldly go where no model has gone before.
Hello everyone and welcome back to the Model Frontier. If you're new to the channel, make sure you smash that subscribe button and ring that notification bell so you don't miss a second of all of my great content. Last shipment was a landmark shipment for this build. It marked 1/3 of the model completed. So we took a retrospective look back at what we've done so far, and needless to say, I'm quite impressed with it. This shipment, we're going to bring the top of the saucer just that much closer to completion. Plus we're going to do some more about prettying up the cobra neck that we sealed last shipment. So without further ado, engage. Okay, so for the first part of this, I went ahead and I'm going to skip ahead a little bit because in stage 47's kit, I believe it is, one of these stages you're going to get two pieces that aren't listed, and it's to a replacement here and a new light here. Basically they decided to go with a red light instead of a blue light, and they decided to make this an opaque instead of transparent section that's going to light up. Not going to go over all that with you guys. It's basically just disassembling it and then reassembling it based on how you did it before. So once you get all that done, that's it for the nacelle. Now we're going to get on with the main part of the build for right now. Okay, so first we got a deck panel. A metallic one. You could tell by it being U2 that it's going to be in the middle section of the ship. After you put in your 8 clear windows and 5 dark windows, they want you to get your saucer section. Now before I do that, there are a couple of things I want to point out. I've started putting a little bit of glue on all of these, but it's especially a good idea to do on this piece, and you'll see why in just a moment. But you can clearly see those windows aren't coming out at all. If you do a little glue, like I say, you just put a tiny little bit on the upper and lower part and then just slot your piece in and let it dry. But let's get our saucer section and we'll get that piece ready to go. Alright, now I don't typically do this that often, but I want to show you what it's telling you to do in the directions so that you can see how ridiculous it is. So in the directions, we're basically putting this piece that we just did into this section, and it's basically telling you to kind of bring it up. So it's kind of telling you gotta bring it up and put it in at a high angle. I'm choosing to try something a little different than that though. So what I've gone ahead and done is I've detached this section right here, because I figure what I'm gonna do is I'll put this piece on first and then I'll secure everything down all at once. So first thing we gotta do is we got a set of lights to run through here. And And what they want you to do with the lights is basically they want you from the front. They basically want it to go down in this section here. And basically through this middle section right here. And then they want these put into the things here. Going under. So basically under and up. Sorry. So basically they want you to put the lights in here. The black and red goes on this side. And then this one will go here. As I mentioned, they normally want you to put this, to turn this around and then try to wiggle this piece in, first of all without gluing down any of the windows, but also by coming up and around. But since we're trying it the way I want to do it, and the only reason I tell you that is because there is a lip which is going to slot into that section there. And since we're doing it like this, I should be able to put this piece in here just to hold everything down, and then we should be able to flip it over without losing the lights. Okay. Now once we get that in place, I'm going to start off by holding the lights in with the EM screws. Then we're going to secure the plate down the rest of the way with 6 BM screws. Now that you got that panel in there, if you did take this panel off, let's go ahead and get that put back into position now. From the looks of it, we're going to need some... Looks like we're going to need some BM screws and some CP screws. Now that we got that on, let's flip it over and we'll see how it all looks. There you go. Starting to look really nice, getting more filled in. We are done with the saucer for now, so we're going to put that to the side and come back with the cobra neck. Okay, so we got our cobra neck, and if you remember last time, we started covering up the screw holes on this side. So naturally, we're going to do the same thing over on this part. They have a starting with the front and the other emitter on the back. Now you got 2 of these pieces, so keep in mind you want the smaller one to be on this back part here. Okay, so we'll take this and take the tape off it and just slot it in there. Alright. Now we'll take our bigger one, get the tape off it, and put it right in the middle section right here where it goes. mind, it has to go a certain way. This is directional. Goes in like that. We get our other side piece here. Put it in. Should probably put this piece in first so that you can get it down in there where it goes. And then we can put this piece on. There's that. Now we got a few more things to do. We got the pieces to cover these screw holes. Again, these just kind of pop into place. Just pop them in there. Push them down. Same thing with this next piece. This just goes directionally. It goes one way. It's going to cover those holes there. You can kind of see the follows the bend, so do that like that. And then we got the two pieces to cover these two holes again. Just keep in mind the thin one once again goes in the front, and the thicker one will go in the back. Just kind of push them into place until they get in there. And that's it. All those screw holes are covered, and that is the end of stage 43. We'll come back to stage 44, which is another panel to put on our saucer section. So our next deck plate here is all metal and done and ready to go. We fitted it with our 2 life pod covers, 5 clear windows, and 9 dark windows, which I've done my light bleed fixed for. And again, I've glued them in because it just seems like it makes things a lot easier. Now we gotta add 2 reflectors and a light. I'm gonna start with this one first, because this one just goes straight down in here. There. And that gets secured down with 3 DM screws. And this one is going to go this side here. And hold that down with another 3 DM screws. And there we go. All the screws are in place. The lights are in place. Now we're going to go ahead and get our saucer section and put this piece on it like always. Alright, so obviously the plate's going to go into this section here, and the way they want you to feed it through is they want the wire to go through this middle part right here. Kind of feed that on through there and bring it into the middle. Then you got to get this piece down in there. Lucky. Now I'm cutting away here for just a minute to tell you that this next part caused me a lot of problems. I'll explain it in the actual part of the build, but I did cut away to get this one panel to go down right. So it is a big jump cut, and I just wanted to explain that to you. And again, I'll explain why I did it in the actual part of the build. So after a little trial and error, what I ended up having to do was I ended up having to loosen this piece that we did put on, which I also found out you do kind of have to put it in the way they tell you to. Otherwise, this seam doesn't line up right. So again, just glue the windows in before you put this piece on. And then you got to really tighten it up because it's only held in by 2 BM screws. So you got to get this really tight so it'll go down. But then that is it on that part of the saucer section. And now we're going to go back to the cobra neck. Okay, so here we are back with the cobra neck, and we're going to put these pieces on to cover the screws and give it the name Enterprise on the side. It's very easy to tell where they go. They are directional, so just make sure you're matching them up right. Be careful. I have heard some stories that these do break. I'm not really worried because if mine breaks, I can put some super glue on it. But again, it's just going to sort of snap right into place. Just cover those screws up. And then you're going to repeat on the other side. Just like that. And with that covering, if I am not much mistaken, not only is that the end of stage 44, but that is absolutely the end of the cobra neck. Everything is covered, all the screw holes. Our lights are working still. We got our formation lights. So everything's working. Everything's as it should be. And that is it. So our cobra neck is now done. And now we're on to stage 45. Okay, so stage 45 starts with another deck panel. This one's got a total of 31 windows, 16 clear and 15 dark. Now the instructions say, even though they're putting 2 clear windows up here, they give you some tape to put over these. Obviously I'm not doing that because I've not only glued them in, I've already done my light bleed fix. So we can just leave it at that. We're just doing our standard thing with the light bulbs and the reflector. You want the red and black wire to go on this side. Put that in place. And this one's going to go in on this side. This. Get those down. We're going to put this into place and hold it down with 3 BP screws. Alright, now that that's in, all our windows are on. Now of course they want us to put this on our saucer section. So now for this section, they basically want us to feed it over this one. And then it looks like they want us to go in this direction with it. So like this. I'm going to flip it over. I actually don't like how they got that one, so I'm going to fix this. So you can see sometimes the instructions don't always give you the best ideas as to how to put these in. So again, use your best judgment, but once you get it in place, you're going to secure this down with 2 CP screws. Alright, now that those are nice and tight, we're going to flip it over, we're going to take a look. And you'll see, obviously there is a gap here, but don't worry too much about that, because if you look on where the model where this piece is, you'll see it's sitting right on a seam here. Once other pieces get added to this and we build the bottom, that is going to kind of bring it all together. So don't worry too much if you're on a seam and it's not laying completely flat. Now, normally you might think that's it, but we are not done yet. We got a special thing to do on this step. One of the things you may have noticed you got with this is we got a new PCB board. A new PCB to put more of these cords in. So we're going to move all these out of the way for now. And they want you to take out this part that you've had in there for a while and plug it into this section. And then we're going to secure this down here with 2 FM screws. And yes, that is not a typo. Even though there are 4 spaces, you're only going to use 2 FM screws. Alright, now that board's in place. As you can imagine, now it's time to do some wire stuff. So first, we want this to go over here. And it's got to plug in down at this point where we've been plugging in the power supply. Now for our wire management. This first one, we're going to go about the 5th one in and put that in here. Then we got all these wires. We're going to put these in place too. I don't know which parts these are. If you really want to check them, you can, but use your best judgment and just plug them in where it makes sense for them to reach. And once you got those in, as you might think, we're going to go to the other side and we're going to plug in all these lights here. From the looks of it, we're going to plug one into here, and then we're going to fill these first 5 slots here. Obviously, we're going to do the longest one at the farthest point. Alright, now a good rule of thumb to check if you're done at this stage is at this point you should have nothing should be unplugged. Everything should be plugged in. To test that out, we're going to go ahead and plug in. Now we can plug into this input. Plug in your power supply. And let's take a look. You can see everything getting all lit up and getting fuller and fuller as we go along. And there's one more thing we have left to do in this stage, but it's a very minor thing, so we'll just get through that real quick. So this next part is going to deal with starting to do some stuff with our nacelle, and it's basically we're sliding this piece into here. Thinking this is some kind of a light diffuser. It can really only go in a certain way. So slot it into place there. And that is it for stage 45. Now we're going to go on to stage 46. So here we have another deck panel. All my windows are glued in and the life pods are glued in. By the numbers, we got 3 escape pod covers, then 15 clear windows and 17 dark windows. We got another reflector and light set to put in. I want you to put these in here, like this. The yellow and black on this side, the red and blue on this side. Put that in place, and then hold it down with BP screws, 3 of them. Okay, and once that's done, of course, we're going to get it connected to our saucer section. So let's go grab that. Now that we got our saucer section back, they want us to feed it through here and through the joint there. Seems simple enough, so that's what we're going to go ahead and try to do. Pull it through. We're going to flip it over here. Sure we don't got any pinching wires or anything. And we're going to hold it into position with 2 CP screws. And once we got that in, we're just going to bring this one. I would bring it through here and then plug it in. Looks like right here is where they want you to go with it. It is a little bit tight, but it will go there. That back. Now flip that back over and you can see it's looking quite nice. Zoom out so we can take a look at how much of the saucer we're done with. I mean, look at all that. It's getting to be pretty much done. You could even see if we throw our bridge on top of it. Just gonna set that there like that. You've even got this other panel piece, which you can see where that's gonna clearly go. So if we throw that on there, you can get quite a clear picture of how this bridge section's gonna come together and start looking, and how close we are to being done with this saucer section, at least half of it. But now we need to do some work on the nacelle. Okay, so we've got our nacelle piece here. The first thing they want you to do, and this is directional, so you gotta make sure you do it the right way, so keep your nacelle the way they want it. They want you to put this piece that we just did and just kind of drop it in to this side here. This is gonna help supposedly diffuse the light of the deflector. It doesn't screw in, it just sort of sits there. Next, we're going to get our lighting strip, our PCB light here. Okay, so this is directional. There's a light bulb right there. It's going to sit into this section here. And they want you to slot one of these right into this hole here. So it'll probably be easiest to just start with putting this bulb in first, because then it'll hold everything else in place while you get this in position. They actually want you, so I'm going to take that out, they want you to run it under the middle brace here. So I should run it under that bracer there. And it actually looks like they want you to run this side through. So they want you to go under the bracer here, then up, and then just slot it right in there. kind of feed this in. Find the way to get your wires to run right, so that that's just sitting in there. And then we need 3 CP screws. And then we're gonna screw this down to hold it into position. Alright, and now that those are in place, it doesn't tell you to do this, but if you get your tester pack, your board, you can actually light this up and see how it looks. Okay, so there we go, our first look at the lit nacelle. That piece fixed right. I can't say that it looks very impressive, but maybe it'll look better in the long run. We got our light blinking. We obviously got another blinking light for something. We got a red light up here, which is gonna obviously house this. Probably gonna be some kind of a diffuser in there to light that up more. Again, I mean, without that diffuser, there's how your lights look. And then if you put the diffuser piece in there, maybe it does a little different. I don't know. It doesn't seem like it's doing anything different, but that might change with that might change as we put more pieces in, but at least we're starting on something that we haven't done anything on since stage 2. And that is it for this shipment. So as you see, finally we're getting around to messing with that nacelle we've had since way back in part 2 of this build. And I gotta admit, as happy as I am with this, it's a little disappointing to see how they're lighting this thing. I mean, the nacelles are a huge part of what makes the Enterprise shine on screen. So to have them showing up the way Eagle Moss is doing it is a little sad. Hopefully they're gonna look better when it's all said and done, or we can find a way to fix that as we get closer to finishing up this nacelle. They also sent us some replacement parts, which I added to the nacelle already, so we don't have to mess with that part anymore. It does make the ship look a lot closer to screen accurate, but some people have taken to painting the Bussard collector yellow. That's up to you. I like it the way it looks, so I'm leaving it as is. So one thing I wanted to bring up that I've noticed on my model, I'm sure many of you have noticed, is some of these panels on the saucer section don't seem to be fitting flush together. Like they're slightly off kilter sometimes. Eagle Moss did respond in one of the one of the Facebook groups I'm in does have a response from Eagle Moss regarding this, and basically it's that certain panels get pulled down closer together as you put other panels on. I know a lot of people have been talking about they've been bending their frames and modding them, cutting stuff off to make it fit. Eagle Moss has said not to do that because you might screw up a part later on in the build. Especially if you see where some of those panels are right on like a frame joint, like where the two frames meet. Sometimes one will be lower than the other. That's to be expected, and it will get pulled up as you put more panels onto it. So for that reason only, I'd recommend against, doing any kind of puttying or trying to do anything beyond what I've done to fix light bleed between the panels. I'm just going to see how it looks when the saucer section is fully done and put together. And then if I need to fix some stuff or if I have some bleeders and I need to putty them up, I'll do it then. But with that said, thank you so much for taking the time to watch, and I will catch you next time on the Model Frontier.